This podcast is brought to you by Refix, a natural and organic isotonic drink containing 78 sea minerals. It's available on Amazon UK now, and it's heading to the shelves of all major health food retailers and pharmacies soon. Oh, that is nice.
It is nice. It's really good, though, because when I was talking to the guys at Refix, it kind of marries very well with our brand, because not only is it replacing like your normal kind of sugary isotonic drinks with something that's all natural after training, but also for like things like hangovers.
Important for our clients.
Yeah, super important for our clients.
Because a lot of them are hungover
They
when
love
they come into the
drinking
gym.
and training.
The flavours are good. That one we've just had now, what is it?
That one was orange, and they've got lemon. And then they're bringing out extreme hydration, which is mixed with coconut water as well as seawater, because they get the minerals that would normally be added in to a...
Floating around in the sea.
Exactly, they just pull it out
78
of the sea.
of them.
It's filtered very, very well.
And it's Spanish sea as well, so...
The cleanest.
Special sea. And also, they do things to help the planet. They do regular beach cleans. They help tidy up our oceans. It's just a great drink and great people. So we're happy to be partnering with them for this podcast.
Our lovely listeners can buy Refix with a little discount, can't they, George?
They can. It is BTL15, and you type that into the discount code on the Refix website, and you get 15% off.
That is BTL15.
Refix. Seawater. Sea hydration. Extra slurps. Is that how you drink all the time?
Super slurpy. Hey guys, before we get into this episode of Before the Lights podcast, here at Before the Lights, we are super supportive of all our friends who are actors and their strike with the Screen Actors Guild. Therefore, we've held on to some of these episodes until the strikes are finished. So some of the stuff they say might be dated or it might have already come out, but we're super grateful for the time they've given us, and it's still super interesting chats. So yeah, have a listen and enjoy.
Hey, I'm Dave Hasty.
I'm George Ashwell.
I'm Josh Betteridge.
And I'm Georgia Canavan. And we are Before the Lights.
We work with actors and teams behind the scenes in film, TV and sport to keep their mental and physical health ticking over on and off screen.
On this podcast, we talk to some of them about how they get the most out of their mind and body and everything in between.
Welcome back to the Before the Lights podcast.
Welcome back.
On this episode, we're speaking to Freddy Carter, who plays Kaz Brecker in the Netflix series Shadow and Bone.
He does. He also told us about his first job as a giraffe in school assemblies.
Look, everyone's got to get a start.
They do. I'm sure he was a great
He's
giraffe.
just happened to be a giraffe.
Yeah, I'm sure he was a very good giraffe.
Onwards and not so upwards for him. Because giraffes are tall. We also talk about how to look good in a harness whilst doing a fight scene.
Yep.
But if you want to learn more, I'd implore you to settle down and listen to this episode. So enjoy.
Enjoy.
Anyway,
Without further ado...
that's my line.
Oh.
Without further ado, we'd like to introduce this week's guest, the lovely Freddy Carter.
Whee!
Clapping.
There's a real dramatic pause you gave
very
him there as
dramatic.
well, yeah.
Because Josh had almost clapped before I'd finished, and I was
You
like,
were eyeballing me.
the pressure's
Wait
on.
for the name.
The pressure's on.
Thanks for having me.
Well, you're more than welcome. Thank you for coming. Just straight, fresh off the plane from New York City.
Fresh off the boat from New York City. It's just me. I'm a jet setter.
Yeah.
Very international.
We're not
man of mystery.
exercising. You just love travel so much.
No, I feel like a whale coming back from America. Every single portion, even if you try and have something healthy, it comes with a side salad, which is actually just chips.
I guess when you're there just for a bit, you're just indulging in it, aren't you?
Yeah,
Just
you've
like-
got to have pancakes for breakfast.
Yeah,
you
yeah,
just do.
What was your favourite meal? I got excited there. What was your favourite?
Favorite thing? I did have a New York slice, just from like a
Dollar
totally
slice?
random. Yeah,
Is it still $1?
yeah.
No, New York slice is like 2 palms, isn't it? It's
Yeah,
like a proper...
definitely. There's
yeah.
a lot of like origami.
Yeah, there
goes
is.
into
Yeah. It's
enjoying
very
it.
thin though, so you can actually fold it a few
Yeah.
times. Yeah.
I'd say that was the best thing.
We'll steer away from pizza now.
Well, come on.
Enough of that. We crossed paths, didn't we, when you were getting ready for Kaz, the role of Kaz in season 2 of Shadow and Bone?
That's right.
Because you'd already done the first one without us, which was quite rude of you, but
Very rude. Yeah.
we were happy to have you in for the second season. For people that haven't seen the show, do you want to explain the character a little bit?
Yeah, so it's Shadow and Bone is a book adaptation, and Kaz is this kind of badass gang leader, so very much like myself. He's a master criminal, absolute thug. No loud noises at the table, Jasper. Scare off the pigeons.
Wouldn't want that, boss.
Shouldn't you be on the door?
Yeah, right away, boss.
You can see why they cast me.
Yeah.
It makes
Easy,
total sense.
really
easy for you to
Yeah.
flip into that mode.
And it was a lot of fun. And the first season was great. Didn't have a huge amount of physical stuff to do, but people have been talking in the sort of in between seasons about how there was a possibility of some sort of shirtless stuff and definitely a lot more physical stuff.
From our side of it was getting ready for like fight scenes and all
Mm-hmm.
that kind of stuff. So it's quite a physical role.
I suppose I just wanted to feel generally stronger.
Yeah.
It wasn't necessarily about being able to lift a certain weight or push a certain thing over. I don't know. Is that what we do? I've been once.
We'll
It was fine.
definitely start that.
Today in the
sounds
program,
good.
pushing things
Push
over.
things over.
We'll stack up all the weight plates.
We'll just work you up from a Josh to a Dave. That's
Yeah,
all
I
we
was say
gotta
like
do.
stack us up. Like,
Oh, we stand there.
Yeah, we just stand there and
Actually
take it.
stand there.
Well done, Freddie. You've completed.
Are we
pushing
allowed
Josh
to?
over.
Are we allowed to resist, or we just got to be
Yeah, you
pushed
just
over?
gotta-
That's stage 2.
Yeah,
Fight
yeah.
back.
That's a real morale building process, that isn't it? Just walking around the gym, shoving people over.
Pushing people over.
I love this place. Feel great.
That's a new class for the new gym. Just hire a load of people in to get pushed. It's like those rooms you go in and just trash. You know, like you get given hammers and
Yeah.
whatever, and you just get to destroy
That's
the
got to be
place.
some sort of therapy.
We just-
Sounds
yeah.
great.
I've never. What's this room where you get to
It's
like
like
trash
it's
it?
called like a chaos room or something or whatever.
wow.
Yeah, you just go in and there's just stuff in there, like everyday stuff, and you get given like a whole bunch of tools, and you can just smash it up. It's for people with issues.
Going back somewhat into hitting things with sticks. Your character has a stick, doesn't he?
He does. Yeah. So
First
he-
of all,
he
did
uses
you
a
have
cane.
to like learn how to walk with it?
He can walk without it,
Uh-huh.
but he always chooses to have it with him because it's his weapon of choice.
Yeah,
and
yeah,
it's
yeah,
this kind of, it adds to his myth making, which
Uh-huh.
was kind of a nice way of seeing it going into it rather than like something he's dependent on. He's something he like loved about himself. And we kind
Yeah.
of, and the author of the books uses a walking aid. And so I had a lot of conversations with her about how she wanted it to feel and how she wanted it to look and all of this stuff. And I think I said as we were getting ready for season 2, I wanted to have some stretches and do some work to sort of strengthen the other side of my body, because there's one side that's getting used all the time,
Yeah.
and then to do some sort of preparatory work and then also some sort of rehab work as I go, so I don't come back lopsided.
Yeah.
It's like anything. Your body's an adapting machine, so you adapt to the thing that you're doing. Like people that sit in offices all the time, they never hurt themselves when they're sitting in the chair at the office. They hurt themselves when they're trying to do something that isn't that, because they've adapted to being a good sitter.
Uh-huh.
Just like
Yeah.
anything, like a sportsman, they've adapted to being that sportsman. So it's wild.
Was that part of you saying it's kind of like his weapon in the show? Was there like a lot of choreography involved, like fight scenes and figuring out how to actually use the stick as a weapon?
Yeah, and to make that feel like second nature
Yeah.
was very really important to me and the stunt coordinators and all of those people, because it doesn't want to feel like, and now I pick up the stick and hit you. It sort of should feel like another limb,
Yeah.
to him, or
That
an,
would
an
be-
extension of him.
That'd be so weird to try and. I thought someone goes, pick up that stick and make it look natural and hit someone.
Yeah, well,
It's such a
weeks
weird
of me
practice,
like
isn't it?
spinning it around my hand and dropping it and like
Yeah.
flinging off and breaking
So
glasses.
you got some
and-
cool moves now, is what I'm saying.
I've got some cool moves.
Did you have a double to do any of your stuff?
Yes, I did have a double for some stuff. There is some things they just won't let you do.
Yeah.
As much as you might want to do them yourselves, and some things I don't want to do.
Yeah.
That's fair enough. Yeah.
I don't want to throw myself into a wall too many times. Like I'll do it once for
Yeah.
fun, but after that it's much less.
Now roll the cameras
Yeah,
and do it,
yeah,
because I've already
yeah,
done.
yeah,
I've done the
exactly.
fun bit.
Do you have
Exactly.
to learn, like with that stuff, you have to learn like how to fall
Yeah,
and how to hit something? Because if you
it's a whole art.
if you're like tense as you do it, you're gonna hurt yourself, right?
Yeah, you've got to rag doll.
And the stunt guys, do you have like days where you literally are learning how to do that?
Yeah, so sort of any day that I wasn't filming, I would go and do stunts in the morning and sort of train with those guys, either on a specific fight or sometimes just on how to fall.
Yeah.
And in season 2, I do some rappelling down buildings, so I had to do some sort of
cool.
abseil work,
Yeah.
which was fun.
Bet that is fun.
It was fun when they told me, we were going to be 20 feet off the ground, and then when we arrived on the day and I was 80 feet up in the middle of the
Really?
city centre in Budapest. And I could hear,
And you like
I could hear them having conversations about how windy it was and whether I should be up there on the radio. And I was just sat in the green tent, like I don't know if they know that I can hear this.
Yeah.
should
Also,
I be
when
going
you're
up?
at the top of something, you can really feel it.
Yeah.
A lot more, even like on street level. If it's windy up there, it must be like crazy.
Not fun.
So you have to like run down a building then?
The shot is sort of me hopping down this building and then through a window. So the window that I was going through was 80 feet up. But what they decided to not do was film outside when I was 80 feet up. So we could have easily just been in a soundstage, 5 feet off the ground and gone
You just
straight
come
in.
You just come in, yeah.
What no one knows when they see it is that I'm 80 feet up. That's why I'm sweating so much. Like,
Authentic.
Looks so panicked.
If you knew the geography of the city and you recognised that particular window, the real people know.
The real fans know.
The real fans know.
The real ones know.
Were there a great deal of people just on the ground as well? Like,
Yeah, there were people.
let's just see if he makes this one.
Yeah, exactly. Well, because there's so much stuff films in Budapest, there are unit bases and trucks and trailers everywhere, and people find out what's filming. And so if they are fans of the show, so season 2 we had quite a few people come to sets, as lots of sets do. It's quite a big spoiler, I think, to have one of the characters dangling from a
Yeah, exactly.
from like a harness like this. I look like Boris Johnson, with his Union Jack flag, just like that, 80 feet above the ground, and people taking photos and stuff. It's a mental job.
No
It is
one can look
absolutely
good. No
mental.
one can look good hanging in a harness, can they?
No, it's impossible.
Just sort of gently batting against the side of the building.
Yeah,
Did you miss the window, or was it one take? You were straight in.
because it was so windy, we did it 3 or 4 times. Because one time I went down and just like hit the side of the wall. I just missed
come
the
in
window
spinning.
entirely. Yeah,
Like you went to drama school, right?
yeah.
Like you don't learn all of that weird shit you do.
No.
They're never going to teach that at drama school.
No,
Like they'll
and they
teach you to dance. They might like
Bit of jazz, bit of
Yeah,
tap.
exactly.
Yeah, no abseiling. Absolutely
abseiling,
not.
like
Yeah,
but like dance helps fight scenes, kind of
Yeah.
choreography.
yeah.
But like abseiling or like, do they teach you stage fighting at drama school?
We did a fair amount, but with like a rapier. So it's very specific, not that much unarmed and nothing
No.
with a cane, nothing
No,
specific,
exactly,
nothing
nothing.
dangling from 80 feet up. It's
So
kind
weird.
I guess they're focusing more on acting, like the actual
yeah, and
the classic kind of methods involved with that and that kind of thing.
yeah, and I think there's no way they can replicate what it's like to be on a set. So why should they try? They should just try and make you as good an actor as possible, so that when you're 80 feet up and it's too windy for you to be up there, and you've got half an hour to get it because the light's fading and all of this stuff,
You got some tools.
you've got some tools to rely on. Yeah, I think that is their job, and lots of schools do that very well. But I do think I learnt more in the first 6 months out of drama school than I did in the
that's the
3.5
thing.
that I was there.
Yeah, that was definitely a question I was going to ask you. Like, would you, if like an upcoming actor, would you recommend drama school? Would you say it's like it depends if you're like that way inclined that you're like education? Is it
Yeah.
like the road to go down, or is it?
It's specific to different people. I'm very glad I went. I think I needed some sort of structure.
Got you.
But I know some people think that it sort of dulled their creative spark a bit. It gave them too much structure. There were too many rules about getting acting right, of which there are none. It either works or it doesn't, in my opinion.
Yeah.
And some people enjoy that and enjoy having the tools, and some people are just very naturally gifted and don't need it.
Was it something you always wanted to do, like going through school?
I think so. I mean, I wasn't much good at anything else, so that's my decision was made for me. When I was sort of 11, 12, I was starting to think that maybe it's what I wanted to do, and then my older brother got into drama school, and so as I was sort of 15, 16, I was watching him leave drama school and be in plays on the West End and be in TV shows and think, oh, someone I know has done this and is making a life of it and a career. So
That must be such
so
an
why can't I?
influence then, because like for a lot of people maybe listening to this that are thinking, I wouldn't mind trying to get into being an actor, but it seems like such a long shot
Yeah.
for most people, which I guess in reality it is. But knowing someone that close to you that's done it and gives you the kind of
And knowing-
confidence to go and try it yourself.
Knowing someone normal who's
Yeah.
done it, because I think actors get put on this weird pedestal because they're on TV and people think there's this some weird magic to it.
I guess that it's a lot of people that just want like a little bit of confidence in knowing if you try it, there's a chance it can work out, and there's obviously a lot of
exactly.
hard work in between.
And I was really fortunate that my parents have always been sort of like, give it a go, and see, which is a huge thing in this industry. I mean, having a family who supports you. And
Yeah. Do
a
they
sort of
watch
a
everything
support
you
base.
do?
Yeah, they do. Yeah, they do. They're very sweet and incredibly supportive. They don't always know what to say about things. So my first job out of drama school was a trilogy of Shakespeare's Shakespeare history plays, which is as exciting as it sounds. And you could see them all in one day. So it was sort of 9 hours of Shakespeare or something.
That's a lot.
But I was really proud to be a part of it because it was my first job out of drama school and professional actor finally and all of this stuff. And my parents came to them. I came out and I sort of came off stage, rushed down into the bar to see them, and I was like, so what do you think? Desperate for them to sort of pull me into a big hug and tell me how proud they were, and Mum just went, oh, a lot of lights in there, weren't there? It must have been very warm on that stage. And I went, yeah, I guess.
Good take home.
Should we go to Nando's now?
We see you quite regularly in between jobs.
Mm-hmm.
I think you enjoy the process of exercise and training and all that kind of stuff. But is it, I guess, are you aware of that? Is it a conscious decision you make to make sure that you're fit for that, or is it a bit of both?
It's a bit of both. I think having like a base level of fitness and stamina is a good thing for work, but more generally for me.
Yeah.
I think because enjoying that process, like you said, is a relatively new experience for me. You know, it's only really since I started working with you guys, because before I would go to the gym and have zero idea what I was doing and just kind of, you know, push things around, as we said.
Well, I guess
I was just trying to push people, and everyone's
we've
like,
spoken about
"Get
in the
out."
gym that you grew up playing rugby, and we had a similar experience of like you go to the gym to be stronger for that, really.
For that
and
one
is kind
specific
of
thing.
all you know about
Yeah.
exercise, or all you know about
And
lifting weights
exactly.
is based on that.
And if you're not a professional rugby player, which sadly I'm not, you know, that kind of training is not helpful.
Mm-hmm.
So you have to train your body in the way that you're going to use it. And a huge part of that for me is stamina, because the days on set are very long. And so a small part of that is fight choreography, you know, having the strength to shove yourself up off the floor or shove someone or hit someone a number of times. So it's just about training the specific parts of yourself that you are going to need and use.
Yeah.
And so yeah, it's a bit of both. Having a base level so that if someone said, oh, in 3 weeks we need you to be able to do this thing, I wouldn't be starting at zero. You know, I'd be ticking along at 30 miles an hour.
That kind of leads into, I remember a conversation we had in the gym where you were in, or it's not out yet, is it Masters of the Air? You were a part in that. I think you came in, you had a day where you're basically getting battered around in a fake plane.
Yeah.
And it sounded like full on.
Yeah, I was covered in bruises.
Yeah,
I
you
remember.
looked like you'd been paintballing or something.
I bet he was. He just like, been
just had a
hard day at work. Classic me, giving it my all.
But especially with that kind of, so say, story. It's not really a story because it's all stuff that really happened, isn't it, I suppose. But being and getting the right shot and having to be put in that place, and imagine it's a plane cockpit. It's not supposed to be comfortable, and it's supposed to sort of show
Absolutely.
you're in a fight, really, aren't you?
Yeah,
so
yeah,
it's
yeah.
like the physical side of that it's not a fight scene. You're like just getting shaken about.
Yeah, but genuinely having the stamina to just get in and out of the cockpit, because it was 30 feet off the ground and you had to climb a ladder to get up, and you kind of like wriggle your way round and through, and it's not built to be easy. It's built to fight in a war. You know.
Yeah.
So
Did you feel like you had to kind of recover after that then, in terms of like physically, where you've literally like sore and bruised and bad?
just from being battered around?
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely.
We can't really train you for that. We're not going to just like...
Well, we can
No.
get this whole pushing people over.
Yeah,
thing
pushing
going.
people like, with role
Self-defense.
reversal, you go in the middle and we just push you for a bit. That'd be good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Stage 3.
Going back to Masters of the Air.
That's what it's called.
Yeah.
Nice one.
I'm just not Masters of It. I kept calling it, what did I keep calling it?
Guys in planes.
Guys in Planes.
Guys in planes. Yeah. Because you trained Anto during
We
it as
trained,
well, right?
yeah, we trained Anto, we trained Stephen Campbell Moore.
Oh yeah.
It's going to be a huge show. Like,
I hope
tell
so.
us, it's Band of Brothers, like prequel, sequel associated with.
So
Got
it's the
you.
same team. So
Got
it's, yeah, Tom Hanks and Steven Spielberg, their production companies came together to make Band of Brothers with HBO. Early noughties, I think.
Yeah.
And then about 10 years later made The Pacific again.
Yes.
And then this one, 10 years after that, is about the American Air Force, their time in the UK specifically, and the sort of missions that they ran from there. I think it's going to be good. I've never been on anything like it in terms of scale.
Massive.
Yeah, I was going to say the scale of it
cast,
must have been huge.
Sort of production values, just kind of they rebuilt the base. They rebuilt the army base.
Oh, like the actual.
An actual sort of replica. They built it in the Chilterns. My fiance's parents live just around the corner from where we were filming, and they just see an American flag getting raised every morning. Like, what's happening here? What's happening?
Something we kind of talk about with a lot of our guests is the nature of being an actor and the fact that you can be working really intensely for a chunk of time and then all of a sudden that stops and you're kind of left with your own self and with way more time than you're kind of used to. Is that something that you find like a challenge to deal with, or do you have kind of mechanisms or processes or things that you do to try and make sure that you don't kind of struggle if you've got too much time or anything like that?
I try and fail most of the time, you know, because if you come off the back of like a 6-month shoot, say, in a foreign country where the only people you're really hanging out with are ones from the show, and all you really talk about is the show, and you spend all of your time making the show, even if you've had the best time and it all feels nicely wrapped up and you have a fun wrap party and everything, it's very hard to sort of park it and stop thinking about it. And then a couple of weeks go by and you stop thinking about that show, but then you start thinking about acting in general and what would I like to do next, or what would I be able to do next with this show, and was I good in the show? And then all of those questions come up again. So it's just very difficult to park it. So I think having other things that you enjoy doing and sort of having some time off, but then throwing yourself immediately into those other things, a hobby or going to the gym, you know, giving yourself some other structure is really, really important, because otherwise some people can do it. Some people can just like completely switch off and go into holiday mode, but I find it very difficult. So have to sort of keep ticking over, otherwise I'll overthink things. And
Did you always use like exercise and going to the gym as part of that, or is that something more recent?
It's definitely more recent. Yeah, and everyone kept telling me to do it, and I was like, no.
Sounds like a lot of effort.
Yeah, good one. Sounds great. But no, it has really, really helped. I've been very lucky that I haven't had like huge periods of downtime. You know, it only takes a week to start overthinking something and totally. Start doing somersaults in your head.
You also busy yourself with other stuff in the industry, don't you? Because you direct, you write. I'm guessing if you direct.
Stomach's rumbling.
Is it?
Sorry, we're getting all of that. It's all good stuff.
It's got some thoughts that it wants to share.
Sorry.
Like I do.
Sorry, you were saying?
No. I was just saying you busy yourself with other stuff, not only acting in the industry, because you do more stuff behind the camera as well.
Yeah. As soon as I started working in TV, I sort of realised that as an actor, it's very exciting, whereby you have 55, out of an hour, you have 55 minutes off, and then you come onto set and everyone's fussing over you for 3 minutes, and then you act for 2 minutes, and then they go, great, next shot, we'll just go and sit down for 55 more minutes, and sort of, and you know, it's lovely. It's a rarefied way to work. It's sort of, we're very, very fortunate to get to do it. But I would spend those 55 minutes watching the other people working and thinking I'd actually quite like to be there and solving that problem about the next shot and figuring out how best to tell the story for 55 minutes, and then work with the people for those other 5 minutes to spend the whole hour telling the story and the whole hour conveying what this scene needs to. And so I just sort of got hooked on the idea of directing and then tried it a couple of times, and yeah, that's my sort of end game. That's what I'd like to end up doing, directing, producing.
Have you been able to kind of not practice, I don't know if that's the right word, but learn? Are people willing to like bring you into that side?
Generally people are very amenable and very excited that an actor doesn't want to just go and sit and scroll on Instagram. And I've been very lucky to work with good directors on a whole range of different things and, you know, see the process from start to finish. So I shadowed a director on the second season of Shadow and Bone, and she was very helpful and sort of let me sit at her chair, and if I had questions she would ask them and all of this stuff. So, and it's just a much more collaborative and enjoyable experience for everyone.
Do you find that then you have to kind of separate those two sides of yourself as like an actor and a director, that if you're acting you got to trust what the director sees and like the notes they give you on that side instead of kind of, I guess that might be quite difficult that you're...
It is sometimes hard to, but like I would never want to direct myself. I'm fully aware that I don't have enough distance from myself to be able to. Some people do it brilliantly, but I know full well I would just want to do one take and go, okay, fine. I don't want to look at it. But it's a hard thing to jump between those two, because I'm you know, on Shadow and Bone, for example, I'm there to act. I'm absolutely not there to be a director. Yeah, you have to park that part of yourself and not think, how is this going to cut together? How do they think? You know, you can think that after and go, oh, that's interesting. I like how they've done that. But doing it on the day is not helpful, because
you need to be
you only get your 2
you?
minutes.
You need to be. I'm in this role. I'm going to give this my all for this chunk of time.
Would you say like at the end of a week? Would you have a drink with director, or would you sort of? Is there a line where you can't really cross to put your views, or is it more depending on your relationship with them? You can sort of suggest.
I think it depends. I'd never felt able to sort of say those things until the second season of Shadow and Bone. I knew because the scene we were doing, they'd spoken about what they were after from it, and there was a very specific physical move in the show, in the scene, that we'd done previously in season 1, and it felt to me like a direct callback and like an opportunity to do a direct callback. So I did. I sent the scene from season 1 to the director of season 2 stuff and was like, I think wouldn't this be a cool idea to throw this back? You know, it's your thing, you're directing. But I just, as soon as I read it, thought that's a callback, so maybe we could do something with it. And she was very wonderful, and I'm sure she's slagging me off somewhere.
Shut up, Freddie. That's bollocks.
But no, she seemed to appreciate it, because I'm not saying it as in like, here's my big moment.
I bet you did it in that very typically English way, like, it's absolutely fine if not.
Exactly,
like,
exactly. Yeah, this is probably just a terrible idea.
Tell me I'm an idiot. That's fine.
Yeah. A lot of that.
Because it's bringing in, though, like we started off talking about how you had to learn to fight and be able to use that stick, and it's like if you know that that's kind of a key move and you can do it well, you want to put that in there as well from that side.
Exactly.
Of things, just from a
exactly. You put in all this work. It's nice when it gets seen. So we actually in season 2 did a one take fight scene that lasted a minute and a half, which was really fun because that
must be exhausting.
Yeah, it was tiring. You know, the kind of thing that you trained for.
But
you
learn
3 or 4 months before.
You learn the choreography in one take because you need to learn. You can't just learn it in like 5-second bits. But then you never get to do it in one take. You're always like, let's do this beat to this beat, punch, and then stop. Then we're going to swing the cameras around. You're going to go from there to there.
Yeah.
So being able to just do it as it was written, as it was really practiced, was fun. Yeah, that
really fun. But also, slightly terrifying because you don't have anywhere to hide.
No, and one little fuck up means you have to start from the beginning.
Yeah, exactly.
Did that happen?
Yeah.
That leads us nicely, though, into, I think it's my favourite part of the show.
It's
the funny stories. Do you have any funny stories that you would like to share with us?
A lot of drama school is brilliant and very worthwhile, and some of it is just sort of ritual torture, And part of the torture during your second year at the drama school that I went to was you had to do a schools tour in the middle of winters, where you go. And do you remember when you were younger and in assemblies, a group of actors would come in and they'd kind of do a little bit of something.
Oh, I thought you meant like a tour of your school. No, you have to go to schools.
Go to like primary schools and do a tour. And I mean, guess what? Wait for it. And so instead of doing a play about road safety or don't do drugs, we did an adaptation of a Dostoevsky novel, which is exactly.
And how old were the kids that you were doing it?
Between 7 and 11. They're like primary school age.
They're like Teletubby age.
And part of the task that we were set was that it had to incorporate animal studies. So your character had to be based on an animal. Okay.
I'm just thinking, who's setting this task? He's just going, and another thing, you got to be an animal.
Yeah. I guess worse. So my character that I was sharing with someone, with my best mate Tom, we were both giraffes. So we were like,
sure,
yeah.
Choice.
Oh, and the final fun fact is that we had to do it in leotards, like
lovely,
tight black leotards.
Like, in like make you look like a giraffe, or
I think just so that everyone could really fully appreciate the physical work that we were putting into it.
Just two fine men out on a stage. That's what they want to see.
Oh, it's like blank canvassing you, so like the imagination is
exactly
supposed to. Okay,
exactly. But a lot of those leotards left nothing to the
yeah,
imagination.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
Good.
The
kids.
So poor kids, exactly.
Yeah.
So we're there giving it stacks, giraffing around, trying to like do our wobbly necks and all of this stuff, and we're doing it. And there's a moment where we're only sort of 1 meter away from these kids and these audience, and we're like fully going for it. And it's one of those where like in the middle of drama school, you just convince yourself these things are brilliant, and they never are. And we're sort of doing it like really trying our hardest. And then no word of a lie, we're just there being giraffes. And then this little girl turns to her friend, and she could only be 7 or 8, and she just turns to her friend and goes, "This is fucking shit." Really loudly at a really quiet moment. And my heart broke, and I just desperate.
Did you
wanted
have like
the ground to swallow me up?
An out of body moment going, yeah, it is.
It is. Well, me and my friend just sort of looked at each other, still in like giraffe character, like, maybe it is. What are we doing here? We should.
The harshest critic is a 7-year-old girl.
Oh, it was savage.
I would
But yeah,
have just loved if like Tom had an anger problem, started on the go, and then you're just one giraffe holding another giraffe back and beating up on it.
It's not worth it.
Yeah. Does Freddy love porridge?
There was a note.
There was a note in there. Smoothly done. That'll play well in the edit, won't it? So what I'd written in the notes was reference to how we use WhatsApp as a way of keeping tabs on people when they're trying to alter their diet, because we don't want to kind of enforce strict set of rules on people. So we think we want people to learn how to modify what they eat in order to help them with a certain goal. So for you, that was with exercise and wanting to put on a bit of muscle and like feel like you can embody that character as that kind of fighting gangstery type part of it. And one thing I enjoyed was the daily picture of your porridge in the morning.
Cool.
Always porridge. You converted me. I never liked it before, but
What I
respected
respected is just knowing that you are another person that likes to just, pimp it up a little bit.
Tell us your pimped up pos.
What's your most tricked out version?
For starters, you got to get your base right.
I'm ready.
I use gluten-free porridge.
Wow.
I feel like some regular porridge bloats me.
Mm-hmm.
So, especially if I'm training not too long after, I like to use a gluten-free porridge.
Mm-hmm.
Oat milk and water, half and half.
Very good.
Equal
I'm in.
measures.
Almond butter
Oof.
mixed in just as you're finishing it off on the thing.
In
so
the
it
pan
sort of
or in the
gets
bowl?
In the pan.
Okay.
So it gets creamy and warms up. Because there's nothing worse than like anything cold in your porridge.
Entering your porridge.
Yeah, forget it. And then raspberries, last minute, chia seeds,
Oh, nice.
goji berries,
Oof.
and then just a bit of chopped banana on top.
There you go.
And then we'd be like, we need to take the cows down a little bit.
Yeah. So
And,
now we just
I mean,
have
Like,
honey.
where?
Yeah, just a
And
little.
a couple of raspberries.
Just a little drizzle.
I reckon that's a solid 9 out of 10. A couple of cacao nibs, I think you're there.
This could be a whole section.
forget
we
it.
could do a segment on
Pimp
we
your
filmed
pos.
Freddy making porridge.
Pimp your pos.
You'd need a jingle though.
Another point that we have to bring up, because I think that you may be the first client that we have a direct hand in an upcoming job.
That's very true.
Yeah.
Yeah. So where we're recording,
We're taking a
And
commission.
also in
You
this
guys-
building as well.
in this
Yeah,
building,
in this very room.
the
Not
House
this
of
very room.
Strauss.
But
You guys hosted a podcast.
it was a
launch,
podcast party.
launch,
Yeah.
Season 2
Season
launch
2
party,
yeah.
which is wonderful, and all of your lovely clients. It was actually a real treat to see your clients not sweaty and like on the Versaclimber, like, hi, big fan. So it was nice to see everyone in their normal clothes and not sweaty, including Julie Harkin, who's one of your clients, and it's very lovely. And
Who came on the podcast, season 1.
yeah,
Season 1, season
Season
2,
two.
season 2.
and I met her there and got a tape through a couple of weeks later, and I'm sure because I wowed her with my dazzling wit and charm at the party.
So you'd never met her
She thought to bring me in.
for work before that point?
No, she never brought
Oh,
me in.
there you go.
And do you know what the role is? The role is like an entitled Bullingdon Club style posh twat. So obviously made a great impression on her.
I mean, you don't want to be typecast as a gangster.
That's
so-
true.
'cause that's the path you were
Entitled.
going down.
So
So,
good.
Bell end.
You won't have to
You're gonna
try
own
too
it.
hard.
Yeah,
to-
exactly.
to
That'll be
fit
easy.
into that role then.
you're
Yeah.
a chameleon. It's
So when you
fine,
guys were like,
you've
do you
got
need to
this.
train at all? Do you need to think about it? I was like, no, I got this.
Yeah, I know what I'm doing.
I think I got this one, guys.
I know what I'm doing.
And we've got a new series of Shadow and Bone and Masters of the Air to watch, which
Yeah.
is great.
When are
Dive in.
those things? When are they coming out? Do you
Good
know?
question. Yeah, not sure. At some point next
Sure,
year, hopefully both of them.
Well, thank you so much for coming on.
Not at all.
It's been
Thanks for having me.
It's been a real laugh. I'm so happy that I
too.
know the giraffe story because I haven't heard that one.
Oh,
Yeah.
So
Well, when I'm not sat down, I might be able to do a little bit of giraffe for you in the gym. Special treat.
Off pod. We'll do
Off
that
pod.
Me and Josh will be like the little girl, and she'll be like, "This is fucking."
This is fucking shit. And
Yeah.
you'd be right.
If anyone listening would like to leave that as a review of just this is fucking shit.
Yeah.
Yeah. Specifically Freddy.
Yeah. No, it was great. Love
On
that
that-
episode.
yeah. On that note, well then,
Quality.
thank you very much.
Thanks,
Thank
Freddy.
you.
Thanks, Freddy.
Thanks.